Wells Club. Miss Wells here, again from the living room. What we're going to be doing today in math is building off our knowledge of quadrilaterals that I posted on Monday. You're going to need a new sheet of paper, some colors, things like that. Make sure you're doing the games that I've posted. Those are a huge help for you to be able to remember all those crazy polygons and what they are. It's going to help you with your angles. It's going to help you with your line memorization because today's quadrilaterals activity is a bit challenging. And I don't know if you've watched the reading video or not yet, but last night, Dr. Smith, our superintendent, did a Facebook Live discussion where teachers and parents and students even could shoot him questions, and if your question was selected, he would answer it. And one of the questions that was selected was, if the building is closed for the rest of the year, how can I turn my child's packet in? And he said, they will not be collected. They are to be used as a reference instead. Your classroom teacher should be building off of it. So I'm already ahead of the ball game here with these YouTube videos, which we will be continuing indefinitely, I guess, because we are still finishing out this school year. We are going to be getting another packet after spring break. So I think spring break is the 6th to the 12th or 6th to the 10th of April. So once we return for good, they'll have open times for you to swing by and grab another packet, where I'll then again be walking you through the lessons via YouTube, some Google Classroom assignments, notes pages, things like that. He also did mention that there is going to be a time given for you to come in and get your supplies. As soon as I know that time, you can come in and get your math notebook. So when you do these, you too can put your notes right in your math notebook. You can get your pencil boxes so you have your colors. I'll make sure you have a brand glue stick in there. Even I'll give out my scissors. If you don't have a pair of scissors, I'll stick some in your pencil box for you when you come to collect it, because I can get some new scissors. But it's looking like virtual learning from the living room for a while longer. So in the meantime, we're going to be going with the lessons that are in our packets, but your independent activities are going to be on Google Classroom. So I will be showing you after this a different video of how to log into Google Classroom to be able to complete your assignments. That way I can get some grades for you, so you can make it to 5th grade. All right, again, for this lesson, you're going to need a piece of paper and some colors or a pencil, whatever you have. I'm going to be using my notebook with colors because I love my colors. And we are going to be building off our basic quadrilateral poster that we made. So this one right here. It's a little bit more complex today, so make sure if I'm going too fast, you're hitting that pause button and you're keeping up, because you're going to be able to use this notes page here and the one we make today to help you complete your independent activity that's coming up on Google Classroom. Okay, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're still working with quadrilaterals. This time at the top, we're going to call this the Quadrilaterals Club. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my sheet of paper sideways. I'm turning it sideways because we have some shapes to draw. It's a bit challenging, but with the more practice you get, the better you will have to memorize them. So practice drawing them all the time will really help you. All right, so the top of our poster is going to be called Quadrilateral Club. Kind of like the Wells Club, because certain shapes fall into the club. And then in order for you to be part of the Quadrilateral Club, you have to have 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices or corners. So again, if I go too fast, you just hit your pause button on your screen. And again, make sure, even though I'm doing them and I'm not sitting here like tapping on your desks reminding you to keep up, you got to make sure you're writing it down and listening. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for you to remember all of this stuff, and you have to have it for 5th grade, guys. You've got to, even if it's through the computer, it's fourth grade stuff, in order to be successful in fifth, you have to already have learned the fourth grade stuff. So I know it kind of gets annoying to sit here in my living room and be like, oh, I don't feel like doing my notes today. You got to be doing the notes. And again, as soon as you can get your math notebooks, I'll let you know, and you can come in and do them in your math notebooks, just like me, with your colors, because you got colors at school. I'll be sure to send home. Okay? All right. The next thing we're going to do is a little bit difficult. So I need you to pick up a different color, or if you don't have a different color, I do. If you don't have one, keep using the same color. No biggie. I'm going to go with lavender. It's a springy color. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw a shape. And again, be careful. These are difficult. All right? The first one I'm going to go is all the way across my paper. And again, please hit pause if I'm going too fast, because these are hard to draw. They're a little bit difficult. And in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to hit pause. So we've drawn one line. We're going to draw two more lines, because we are making one big giant shape. And it has to take up the whole page like Miss Wells, because there's going to be a whole bunch of different shapes hiding inside of this one. And we're going to close it up at the bottom, because our polygon rules say straight lines with no open ends. All right. What we just drew is called a parallelogram. So what we are working on is the parallelogram club. Now, everything inside of this shape falls under the parallelogram club. Now, to become a member of the parallelogram club, you must, rule number 1, must have 2 pairs of parallel lines. Again, this is saying, ooh, that's fuzzy. Parallelogram club rule, you must have 2 pairs of parallel lines. So parallel lines, again, are lines that will never, ever, ever touch each other. So the top and the bottom are parallel, that's 1. And then the sides are parallel, that's 2. So if you extended those lines, they would never touch, ever, ever, ever. And again, if I'm going too fast, make sure you hit that pause button. All right, the next thing, switching colors. Got too many colors stuffed into this box here. I need to get a bigger box. All right, next color, green. That's a spring color. We're going to draw a rectangle. Now, I know you're like, oh, that's so easy. You got to pay attention to how big I do it, because, again, there's going to be shapes that fall into this category of the club. So right now we have parallelograms. Everything that is inside of this parallelogram is a parallelogram and itself, too. I know you're going to be like, do what? It's okay. We'll get it. So a giant rectangle. Inside of the parallelogram. Now notice I left some space right here inside of the parallelogram. You'd need to do that too, because there's another shape that goes right there. So nice big rectangle. Now we're going to talk about how to get into the rectangle club. The rectangle club means, all right, rectangle club. Now, the rule to get into the rectangle is you must have 4 right angles. Again, 4 right angles. Those angles are those perfect L shapes, perfect L shapes with the boxes in each corner. Again, 4 right angles. So each angle is, here's one, it goes down and across. So your right angle would be right here where the 2 points meet. That would be a right angle. Each corner would be a right angle. All right, I'm going to switch colors again. So each club has its own special color. I'm moving into the pink, another spring color. Rhombus Club. Now, you need to be very careful how we draw this. We're going to do this together, one line at a time. All right, so I'm going to cross the top here. And then a rhombus, you're going, oh, that's just a diamond, Miss Wallace. I know that. I know you know that, but this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because your diamond has to overlap your rectangle club. Because they are one and the same. And as you can tell, mine are not perfect. That is okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it so you can kind of see it. See the diamond now? All right, because a lot of times you're going to see rhombi turned on its side like we just drew. So that's why we drew it sideways. All right, this is called the Rhombus Club. And in order to be a member of the Rhombus Club, your rule must have 4 equal sides. What that means is all your sides are the same length. They don't vary in length. So you're not going to have a really long side and a really skinny side. It's the same size length for each side. And then we have 2 more things to do. There's one that's considered all of them. It's in the very middle. So right now, a rhombi is also a parallelogram. A rectangle is also a parallelogram. A rhombi and a rectangle are 2 different shapes because rectangle doesn't have the same size sides. However, this final shape here in it can be, so changing colors again, this one is considered all of the above. It is a rectangle, a rhombi, a parallelogram. Here we go. Another spring color, orange. And it is the dun 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 square. I'm going to put a square right in the heart of all of it. Again, a square is considered a rectangle. It's considered a rhombus. It's considered a parallelogram as well. And I'm going to put its rule. Gets into all 3 clubs. It's the VIP shape. What that means is a square has 2 pairs of parallel lines. It has 4 right angles, and it has 4 equal sides. So the square is the VIP. It gets into all of the categories. And again, I know I moved quick, so I need you to make sure you hit pause. And there's one more shape we're going to draw who's unfortunately not part of the parallelogram club. He's in his own category all by himself. And that shape is a trapezoid. So yet a different color. What color haven't I used? Ooh, pretty blue. On the outside, we're going to draw a trapezoid. And a trapezoid is just a straight line here. And then the 2 lines coming out of it on the sides. And then for it to be a polygon, you have to close it all the way in. And the reason I'm drawing him on the outside of the club is because the trapezoid does not have 2 pairs of parallel lines. It only has 1 pair. So we're going to write trapezoid. And then its special rule is 1 pair of parallel lines. And then those lines are on the top and the bottom. As you see on the lines on the side of the trapezoid, if you extended them, they would eventually cross over each other. So that means there's only one pair, whereas the parallelogram there are two. All right, as a review, a square is VIP. It falls under all the categories. A rectangle is also a parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel lines. A rhombus is also a parallelogram because it has four equal sides like the parallelogram does. And then the parallelogram means it's just a shape that has two pairs of parallel lines. All of these shapes on this page, though, are considered the quadrilaterals because they have four sides, four angles, and four corners. Okay? And then in the next video, I'm going to show you what you're supposed to be doing on your Google Classroom activity. Feel free to use your notes. Spelling counts, okay? So make sure you are double checking the spelling. You have a word bank at the top of your Google Doc. And you're going to be typing the names of the shapes in for me because you're going to show me that you know what they are. And if you spell them incorrectly, it's going to be marked wrong. So again, make sure you take your time on that next assignment. So the next video, again, I'm going to show you how to use Google Classroom to complete your independent assignment. So I'll be talking to you in a minute. See you soon.